Let's try and pick up where we left off. Hopefully we'll be able to fix this sometime in the new year. I'm not quite sure what's causing my computer to crash like this. I feel like it's the power. But I was just about to decide what next I should craft. We do need a fire pit. Fire pit you need to, I guess, to hold things in place over it. Like a fire spit. Fire spit we can use to hang something else on top of it. The best thing it's going to be used for is creating a water distiller. We need more lashing for that, though. I'm a little bit tired, but I can still sort of see around in the island. I don't think I need to go to sleep just yet. Go for it, Chibi. It's appropriate at any time, really. Although, one other thing we can do. Something else we can craft. I might need to make a hammer first, actually, thinking about it. Crude hammer. That I use to create buildings. So let's make a wood foundation somewhere. We can make it pretty high up. The game still gets persnickety about it. We need things not in the way, including rocks and trees. That should be a good place. It should be able to jump onto it. There we go. Kill another ficus to make up for the loss. And this foundation we can then use to build walls. We can make a bed, just sort of independently of it, but it's a good place to keep it. We can create stairs, an archway, and a door. Get our own nice little shack. Now, what I did previously, I made a really big house. Unfortunately, because of rocks and trees and what have you, I couldn't actually make it square or anything. It just ended up being more like a plus sign accidentally. But I just took all of my materials and dumped them in the house so that I knew where they were. Maybe we'll do something like that, maybe not. But there are a bunch of other things. I feel like previous versions of the menu were easier to get around because I just need to use the mouse wheel to move around. But it always starts way back here, and there are arrows here, but I can't press them. It's a little annoying. Let's make some wood steps, just for the hell of it. I have my own floor. Yeah, just throw it in, forget it. Let's actually get some sleep in, though. It's pretty instantaneous. I'm not sure how late you sleep. About 9 hours, I guess. Alright. Logical. I feel like I wouldn't be able to actually sleep that long, stuck out on an island like this. Especially when that's all my shelter. I'm sure all my body heat just came out through the ground. These palm trees, the big ones, let's just bring them out. Take them down, get use out of them now. If we end up really getting desperate for wood, we can always actually build a raft and go to another island. Now, if only I can remember where perhaps the most useful island is. I feel like it's off in that direction. But there's an island around here with a bunch of materials that you actually use to create a boat motor. Some of the things we can normally get. Wood stick lashing. But then they're like fuel tanks, propellers. It has everything on that island except for duct tape. The duct tape island, I think, is like off in that direction. And that's the only item you can find out in there. There are shipwrecks. That's why there are those items out there. And we need to go off the island and find those shipwrecks in order to make better rafts and propulsion for them. Now the campfire does eventually go out. You need to refill it with that. That small meat was cooked, wasn't it? Whatever. We'll worry about that later. I can only think of two things that the cloth is actually used for. The grand majority of things use lashing, so focus your efforts on that. I do also want to clear some of these out so I have actually space to build. Again, keeping the small ones alive, because they do grow coconuts, but I think we'd only get like one log out of them. So the wood reserves, not as big a deal. That other palm had a coconut. I think that disappeared on me. It fell into the ocean. Actually, I am very thirsty. But I might be able to make a water distiller. I need more lashing. Go figure. You're going to hear that a lot. But I've got a bunch of coconuts. Don't know whether you'd consider them lovely or not, but I have them. I'm going to get confused about the buttons pretty often, even though it's pretty simple. But once I drink it, you probably need to go into your inventory and actually select, make sure it says 1 servings at the bottom there. That means it's when you can actually drink. And then the rest will be empty. It is interesting that they stack different versions of the same item. So, like, I'm holding a bunch of empty coconuts. But it stacks with the full coconuts. Which can, like, you need to pay attention. You don't want that. You don't want to end up drinking from a bucket full of salt water when you meant the freshwater bucket. There's also wild potato plants. You're supposed to be able to cook them. You don't want to eat them raw. That makes you sick. But when I cooked them, and it said it was cooked, it still made me sick. Let's actually eat some coconuts. Oh yeah, don't do that in the raft. If anything's on a remote slant and you break something, the rest of it's going to go flying. So do it on the ground. I am brilliant. Alright, now let's get some lunch up in here. Get you away from it. Some of the sound effects are very, very slight. Oh, and I'm full already. Well, then we've got a snack for later. Coconut halves, I think, only fill half of a bit of the meter. So basically, you need to eat a full coconut in order to fill yourself up. But now that we are mostly full up, let's leave this bucket here. Let's say we actually go and take a look out in the ocean. Got seagulls, we got some fish. This is a good chance for us to use our spear, too. So you notice, right immediately, it looks like I'm in pain. You see these barrels, we can't do anything with those, although there are apparently some barrels out there that we can get scrap from and craft with. Get back here. But in the shallow end, there are pilchards and sardines. They are safe to eat. There are some other fish that will poison you, so be careful. I see, I need to use the actual fishing spear in order to catch them. Slightly obnoxious. Though if you press on the right... Anyway, press on the right mouse button, you do this, and then when you press the button again, you throw it, and that's how you hunt, more or less. We can also craft a bow and some arrows, but that's sort of a waste of resources. Granted, you can pretty much pick back up all of the arrows. You never really run out. But I still prefer not to. And we're a little while from actually needing to hunt. Especially with all these coconuts. I wish I was Aquaman. I wouldn't have nearly as many problems as I do here. Yeah, let's leave it by the shelter. But yeah, be careful. Hold jump to climb is actually less useful than just actually jumping onto it. Let's actually hack into this palm tree. This is a good example of how long and tedious this can be. If I had access to wild game like the boar, I could create a tanning, or whatever it's called, a thing to make leather, which I can use to make an even better axe, which... Nice one. Which narrows it down to just swinging 8 times. Not a huge improvement, but a noticeable difference anyway. What would have been nicer if I could actually swing into one of the middle logs, and it would actually separate from the ones around it. But it doesn't. It only separates from one other log at a time. But we're going to use some of these and make ourselves a base for the raft. In order to make the really good raft, we're going to have to actually get off the island first. Which is a little sad. We're sort of like, we're making a baby raft. And we'll actually get a good one later. Speaking of the raft, you'll notice up in the chat, I have a warning to not watch this if you get motion sickness. It's because of the raft. Don't know how long it'll be before we can actually do that. But my lordy, are we going to be bobbing around. Yeah, the animations are kind of silly. We can also use this life raft to go to the other islands, but it's extremely slow. I don't recommend it. Especially if you have enough materials on your current island to make the basic raft. I'm going to need a lot of lashing, though, just to make the loom, so I can make cloth, which is how we make the sail. Now, I actually don't need that many palm fronds. We do use them to make a bed. And really nothing else, from what I can recall. If anything, I had a big pile of them in my house. And I just didn't use them for anything. When you make a bed, it works basically the same as the shelter. Only you can actually pick it up and move it around. The shelter, it's static. Some of this furniture we don't need to worry about. I don't need a chair, I don't need a shelf. A bed is nice. Apparently one way to kind of cheat the game is to create a bed and then stuff it into the life raft. Apparently it's safe there. Tanning rack, that's what it's called. It's safe there. I'm going to use one of my tarps and rocks to create a solar still. This is kind of cool. It's an automatic water creator. Like, the implication is that it's picking up rainwater, but there will be plenty of days where it's not raining, but water will still show up. It's very slow, though. We're going to be using coconuts more often. Also, there is this driftwood, and you can see my axe's durability is running low. If I had some leather, I should still be able to make a better axe out of it, though. That tends to happen. When you get a driftwood pile, it just gives you 2 logs, which we can then chop down into 4 bits of driftwood. Driftwood you can use for some crafting. More often than not, you're going to need wood sticks, so I prefer to hang on to it and use it as kindling for the campfire. Can't use a whole log, though. We are super strong, though. I just lugged that onto my shoulder. Water purifier, yeah. Let's actually refill this campfire. All it does to signify that it's refilling, it just makes the animation go higher. A little bit silly. Another thing that annoys me about them taking out the lighter, they didn't put it back anywhere. Like, you just started off with the lighter, which maybe was a little bit broken. But then, apparently there were cases where if you found another shipwreck, a lighter would be one of the items that you could find on it. And that would be super useful if they kept that. At least that part. It would be a little more realistic. But they didn't. So now we're just stuck with this. See, it is cooked meat, but it doesn't seem to signify that. Now it does. Whatever. 1 bar, and we're good. Let's actually do some fishing. Let's me make a fishing spear. Now let's kill some of these little motherfuckers. Could you set the trees on fire? I don't know. I don't think so. There, we got a pilchard. These little guys, we can skin them and get 1 piece of meat out of them. Like everything else. Underwater is gorgeous looking. But you are in danger of sharks. This game makes sharks scary again, which is kind of impressive. Although unfortunate because sharks are also, maybe not as much as bats, but compared to how afraid of them we are, they're not nearly as dangerous as we make them out to be. You're more likely to die from a toaster than a shark. But these sharks, they want to fucking kill you. So we got some pilchards. And some sardines. So we've got a nice little stack of lunch that I didn't even need to make. But there's 2 things I can do here. I can put 1 on the spit. That'll be fine. And I can drop another directly on the campfire. Now let's see if I can actually BS another bit of meat on the campfire. Yes, I can. If I put them too close, they start spinning. Let's see if I can make that happen. Like that. Start spinning around. Oh. Nope, we're good, though. Yep, that is the Far Cry animation. They didn't even try to make it different. The animation is a newer edition. I don't think it was in the older builds. Make some surstrumming. Isn't that the rotten fish thing from, like, Sweden? Pretty sure that would kill me. Now, there are some interesting things you can make raft bases out of. I don't know if there's a big difference between them. I'm counting on us finding some buoy balls, and I do want to make that. I feel like all it is make, like, the buoy balls, especially compared to the wood raft, they're just lighter, so it's easier to pick them up and move them around. The buoy ball raft, in particular, is extremely light. Use the driftwood. And now we've got the base of our raft. Now I just need a crap ton more lashing, so I can make a loom to make a cloth. Then a couple wood sticks, we'll have a sail, and we can get off this damn island. And go to another damn island. Swings and roundabouts. crouch? I can't get under here. Cool. Crouching is most useful for getting up behind animals without them noticing you. I like that I can walk right through my stuff. Though there are some times where I can just get hung up on the geometry. Like this. Cooked. They all cooked. I've beaten you, game. Haha. To what extent can you be silly with this game? I don't really know. Because, aside from flying palm trees, the physics, the controls, they're pretty solid. I mean, it's just the animations that are cheap and weak. The sharks in particular, they sure work as advertised. I haven't made a smoker, and I really wish I had a barrel scrap so I could make a hobo stove. Apparently you can leave food in there unattended and it'll be fine. And I also need a water distiller, which is going to make keeping myself from getting thirsty very easy. Feels like there are some very basic things the developers could stand to work on, instead of gussying up the game. Which is a little sad. It feels like there would be driftwood that would automatically spawn the next day. Or a twig, maybe not a rock. I don't think a rock would travel very far. But it would be nice. Wonder if that was another thing they took out. Working to make the game more believable. I didn't need to do that. I do like, while I'm dropping and carrying things, if I do it quickly enough, I will actually drop a stick underneath one I've already dropped and send the other one flying. It's really not a waste to use your drinkable coconuts, along with them respawning constantly. Since they don't go bad, and you can't use them while they're in their husks anyway. Go for it. At least this game doesn't implement what really goes on with coconut water. And that I think it's a diuretic. So it makes you have to pee. I don't know about coconut halves, but I know small meats, anything cooked really, and raw, it will go bad eventually. Yeah, it seems like for the most part they're trying to make this game serious. There we go, we're getting a little bit of rainfall. That might speed up the solar still a little, I'm not sure. If anything, if I can get a bucket and stand it up, it will actually collect rainwater. And then we can drink from that. I don't have any neighbors. If anything, they're so far away they wouldn't notice me. This is both kind of cool and kind of annoying. Buckets filled with liquid do actually react to physics, so like if I were to tip it over when it was full, it would be empty. And if I were to just walk out into the ocean and dump the bucket in there, it would fill up with seawater. It's probably going to take a while before any fresh water gets in there, but it should work. If I can get it to work. If I can get it to just stand up. There, that should be good. Nice idea to have just one bucket somewhere ready to collect water. There we go. They're kind of weak as starter containers, but they get the job done. That is a good point, because the sharks do hate you. Oh, is that another driftwood log? You know, I wonder if that actually spawned in, or if it was from the driftwood pile that I got previously, and I just didn't see it fly away. We're gonna hang on to you for the campfire. Yucca plants take a while to respawn, but there are always young palm trees spawning somewhere. Except for me, probably. There'll probably be situations like this one where I'm just waiting for something to respawn, particularly yucca, at least before we get the raft going. And when that happens, the uploaded version on YouTube will probably be edited down. So let's see how many... Alright, we got 3 servings of water out of that. That'll do ya. So right now I'm just going to focus on chopping down these logs and getting as many twigs as we can. I'll keep the palm top somewhere else. Weird thing, the palm top doesn't have an object in the inventory. We'll just leave you there. Looks pretty. I can't tell if that's supposed to be in that rock or not. It's probably going to land on my stuff and send everything flying. There goes my axe. Alright. Not a problem, we can build another one. Except I'm out of lashing, so... And stone tools. I can use my knife, but it's not nearly as effective. It is funny that... Oh, there we go, it landed nicely. It is funny that when you chop down a palm tree, you can actually see it lifting off of the stump. Like it's preparing to separate. Oh yeah, you can destroy some of the things you build. You don't get any of your objects back from it. So really only do it if it's specifically in the way of something. Like you're trying to build your house. It takes 15 to use a knife for that. Definitely not going to be for a while. Except in emergencies. Yeah, you just travel down the island for us. Oh boy, this is bad. It's all gathered onto this yucca plant, so when it respawns, once I get some leaves off of it, it's probably going to send this whole pile all over the island. Though this does make me wonder, after playing this game, if I got stuck on a... There we go. If I got stuck on a deserted island, would I actually be able to survive from what I learned? Yeah, the game has a pretty slow start. Once we get the raft, it'll pick up a bit. Because there are some pretty interesting stuff we can find out there. But we've already seen everything we can find on this island. We can't see any of the other islands, even though they are within viewing distance. There's a newer patch to the game, which gives what I call it the fog of discovery. Like, you need to get close to the island and into that specific sector before it'll actually show up. And then you can see it from the other islands. Well, I bought it and played it, so you don't have to, Chibi. Oh, Lore, you previously asked if it's possible to overcook stuff. I don't think so. I've left cooked meat on the fire for a very long time and it never went bad. Guess all you can really worry about is it eventually spoiling. So yeah, see, 100% durability always, but this is how long it takes to cut and everything. I think you can very slowly see my shadow moving, following the sun. Yeah, they haven't bothered making the animation look good. There's the yucca. Now let's see if this goes badly. Wow, my god, did it. Yeah, let's move these sticks somewhere else. Now be very careful. There are some poisonous things you can find out in the reefs. Specifically, things you can step on. Alright, I think it was just one. So it should be fine. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Stingrays! They can't hurt you, so they're just cool. Oh, look at them. There are stonefish, but specifically there are poisonous things you can step on. Like parts of the reef. I don't know if we can see them from here. They don't poison you for long, but it still sucks. Imagine there's no water and you're Vice. Okay. An octopus would be cool to see here, too. Unfortunately, no such luck. There, that's better. But I still need more. Creating the lashing just automatically is a lot more useful than trying to pick up the individual leaves. In my other playthrough, god damn it, there was one tiger shark that just had it out for me. There's, I think, 3 different types of sharks you can find. 2 of them are actively aggressive. One of them I don't think is. But if you attack it, it will attack you back. Yes, Chibi, this game does not go for realism. It just goes for making you scared shitless of sharks. Alright, I can make a loom. I'm gonna keep that out of the way. Where the hell's my shelter? There it is. Keep it nearby the shelter. And then when I get some more leaves, I can make a cloth. And then we can make a sail and get the hell off the island. Temporarily. We will come back. This is our base. We ain't going anywhere. That's true, and that's especially the case for sharks, just not in this game. You know what? I can't tell, but it feels like the palms are actively growing, which if they do, that's pretty cool. But I remember in my other playthrough, there's always just ones like this one. Just kind of stumpy. Probably only get 1 or 2 logs out of it. And that was mostly what was left on the island after a point. Admittedly, this does make it harder to detect the island when you're out on the ocean and you're trying to find where your base is. Because then the image of the island on the horizon is very small and stumpy. You might not even see it. I can make another solar still. I'm gonna focus on getting a distiller. Which will be a little while. But that does make getting water much faster. Although, now I've got a full bucket of water. You can just sort of see it right there. And we're good. Oh, it's gone bad. Has it? Wait a minute. But basically, I just barfed. Okay, that meat was fine. Game, you're weird. I could probably do that after a point, Chibi Wisdom. We need to get far enough into a game that I can easily go to another island and get as many twigs as possible. Yeah, that was a sign that I think I was puking. You lose a little bit of your hunger when you do that. So it's sort of counterintuitive. Sleeping is probably useful for speeding this up, waiting for things to grow. But you lose a lot of your thirst very quickly. In the very least, you can use that time chopping logs and what have you. Oh boy. I think the coconut has finally gone bad. Or no, maybe I just ate while I was full. Let's see. Nope, the coconut went bad. Alright, don't want to chop it before. We've got enough for some cloth. So just get within the vicinity of the loom. There it is. Nice. Chop within the range of the twigs. Do we have enough to make a sail? We need to make one more lashing. My eternal struggle. Now, it says a crude hammer has poor durability, but it doesn't have durability, period. Maybe that's a joke. I probably am, Chibi. I don't know if the game actually stops you from sleeping too much. Because I've never needed to. Like I said, I will edit this down so we're not waiting around for when I upload it to YouTube. Let's see, let's save first, just in case something goes wrong. Nope, it won't let me sleep so soon. We gotta tough it out. Tell you, what if we do something with this big palm tree? Something funny. Better yet, maybe we can find where that other palm tree went. See if we can pull it out of the water. Oh, man. If I had a bow and arrow, I could actually kill the seagulls and get meat from them. Let's see, where was that other palm? I just need to find... Well, if it came out of the rock, so I actually probably wouldn't know where it was. I think it was around here. Let's see if we can find it. Another stingray. I am putting myself at risk here. Because sharks can sort of find you from anywhere. And when they grab you, they will drag you around. Stingrays won't hurt you. You can kill them, but I don't think you can skin them. I do have a fishing spear. In fact, let's hunt a stingray. Let's be a jerk. Maybe we can actually do something with it, and the wiki I saw was just using a previous build, so it didn't actually know. There's the crude spear. Where's the fishing spear? We'll see which one of these works. Where are you, new best friend? There you are. He doesn't really seem to care. He's not hurting me. I'm just drowning. Yeah, he's not too bothered. There we go. Now I need to switch something else, because the same button that grabs is what you use to focus in your spear. So if I can't actually do anything with him, at least we have a mascot. Aw, why would you do that? Yep, just need a sharper stick. Farming, we're not even gonna bother with, probably. It's dumb, I never got it to really work properly. The idea is, when you go around on the other islands, there'll be some wild fruit you can grow. One of which recovers both thirst and hunger, which is pretty nice, and you make a farming plot, you can grow them on your own island. Doesn't mean it'll work properly, or be quick or anything. Nope, can't do anything with that, so... maybe until I get... Feels like sort of a logical thing to make leather out of. Yep, physics are silly. There we go. We got our buddy. This is my life now. Alright, here we go, folks. Lashing. Where's the cloth? Cloth. And a stick. Y'all ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. I need more than one stick. Okay, now are you ready for this? A sail. Ta-da! We have our completed raft, folks. It's a bit basic. Bit horrifically ugly. But it will serve us well. What should we name our raft here? Y'all give suggestions while I go save in case something goes wrong again. What do we name our raft? The HMS Fuck Sharks, HMS Moonstone Cannon, the SS We're Gonna Die, the Shit Tanic, HMS Stingray, and HM Sonic. Our stranded adventurer is Vice. That is canon now. That is true, yeah. That's sort of what's going to be happening, Renose. It's alright, we'll call it there. Pretty quickly, the winner, HMS Moonstone Cannon. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to turn off the game so that my computer doesn't shut off. And then we're going to come back. We're going to take the HMS Moonstone Cannon and fire on an island.